Hey, what's going on? E. Jones, bottom to the top hoops.
You already know your boy, Black Elvis.
Yo, L, man, always good to be with you here on the podcast. We on episode 30, my brother.
We moving outside of the episodes of the sit-down interviews with E. Jones.
Yes, sir, man. Just definitely a refreshing thing to be able to tackle topics in and outside of basketball and those topics related to basketball and how it affects us all, man. And we got another one of those today, but how you feeling, man? Who you want to shout out before we get started?
Definitely want to shout out God. You know how I do it.
Yes, sir.
Definitely want to shout out K1, shout out Dom, shout out Steve. That's pretty much it, man. Shout out to my man Kevin Watson, man. His mom passed away. My condolences to him and his family. Big supporter, you know. So,
yo, shout out to you, Kev, man. A great New York City basketball enthusiast, man. Supported a lot of kids and helped them with their dreams and their goals and coached and just always been around the game, man. And I reached out to Kev yesterday, man, and definitely our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. So,
yes, sir.
We had a lot of things going on, man, and so many things are going on around the game, but most recently, the acts in Wisconsin, Kenosha, where the young man was killed by the police officer, shot 7 times, and it caused an upheaval. What was your initial thoughts on it, man?
First initial thought was it's still going on.
Right.
Meaning where we are today and what's going on with like the, you know, just what happened with Floyd and Breonna Taylor. It's like, y'all, I just don't get it.
You know, I was having a conversation yesterday and they were just saying how it's almost like they're picking people out. And as soon as you hear about what's happening, they're immediately going for the card of like just, it's like they're going at their character. And they're talking about, you know, they what they did in the past or their record or things like that. So it's almost like there's a theme there.
But they've been doing that for years. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And then I was having another conversation with a college coach, and we were talking about, you know, how people are so dead set on which side of the aisle they're on. People have lost their human decency. And
yeah.
It's almost like you know something is wrong, but because, you know, the right or the left is on this side, you are less likely to go on the side with what's right and just kind of stand your ground with your party just so you can have your agenda pushed in terms of obviously we know the election's coming up. And it's kind of like people are losing their human decency because of politics.
Absolutely. I mean, did you see the head of the union for the police department and how he went on TV on News 12 and ranted and said, Trump's behind us and all of the Democrats are against us? Why are you going national and saying a statement like that when it's completely wrong?
Well, here's the thing, man. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, everybody's jumping to conclusions about what happened, what didn't happen. And you know, when you make those type of assumptions and you jump out there and hopefully we get some convictions on a lot of these open cases, what do you say then? Like, there's people actually supporting the young man in Kenosha who shot 2 people with a shotgun.
Well,
there's people saying he was defending or protecting a store. Meanwhile, he was running in the street. What?
No, but see see, the other day I was watching a clip and Donald Trump said, I've done more for black people than Biden has done in 45 years or 43 years. What I've come to the conclusion of, it's very sad, but Donald Trump has done more for black people than we can ever imagine. For one, he's literally exposed the system. Every president, every person we've had standing there representing the country knew they could not truly show the racism and how we really operate systematically. Donald Trump doesn't care. He says, this is what it is, this is the way it is, and this is the way it's gonna be. I noticed that, especially with the cop, with the head of the union, just for him to have the balls to go on television and say Donald Trump is a supporter of us and the Democrats are going against us is a complete lie. He's making it a black and a white thing, but it's not that. It's we want justice. These cops are killing these people. It's slaughters. It's murder. That's what it is.
And you know what, Al? I'm gonna say this, man. If it's they're forcing people's back against the wall, right? And whether you're black and like if you're black and you're wrong, you're just wrong, right? If you're white and you're wrong, you're just wrong. And I think what's happening is people are like, no, this is the Republican agenda. I'm staying with that, even if they know it's just. So again, with all of this stuff happening, the players in the NBA took a stand. And again, I'm going to repeat this, and I've said it on past shows. The NBA is usually at the forefront of speaking out, and I'm going to commend Adam Silver for his response to COVID, his initial response to the restart, his response to putting social injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement when they restarted, and then this most recent protest by the players, or boycott, better yet, they responded, and once the Milwaukee Bucks said we're not playing, they immediately after that canceled the rest of the games for the day. They pushed the pause button, collected themselves, and said, you know what, how can we help each other? And what do you want? How can we help, right? And the players now are in a different position. They have leverage, they have voices, they have, I wouldn't say that they have the owners by the balls, but the product has to be on the floor in order for people to earn. So
Absolutely.
They wanted them to meet them in the middle, and I feel like they gave them a platform. And shout out to Obama, who was counsel for them and said, hey, you guys got their ears, this is what you go ask for.
First things first, let's give a big shout out to all of the athletes who's paved the ways, like the Jim Browns and the Muhammad Alis, because when I look at them, I see LeBron James, because his courage and how he put himself out there on the front line opened up the door for the Chris Pauls, for these players, for the Kyries, to sit there and literally step up and say, you know what? I'm a black man, and just because I make millions of dollars, it doesn't make me exempt from being a black man.
Agreed.
And that's what they see, and they're representing. So, like I said, I just want to give a big shout out to the first people, like I said, the Muhammad Alis and the Jim Browns, because they've given people like LeBron the courage to do that now today.
And even before that, the Jesse Owens of the world.
Jesse Owens,
Jackie Robinson.
So let's use Jackie for a second. I'm going one quick soundbite. When you look at how it was back then, it's literally similar to what we see today. Meaning, it's not as bad as far as racism is concerned, but when you look at the fact that, oh, we love you when you entertain us. We love when you hitting home runs. But when you now try to step up for your people, now we have a problem with you. Now we're throwing things at you. Now we're spitting at you. Imagine being in an arena or a park and a bunch of black people were spitting on a white person. just try to visualize that for a second. It's unheard of.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate too, man. you know, we stand on the shoulders of many people who came before us who, you know, sportscasters, journalists, and we're in that genre because we have a platform and a podcast. So, you know, big shout out to, you know, all of the people who paved the way for us to have a voice to do this, right?
Absolutely.
And so to that point, the players have, you know, gotten some things in terms of advertisement during games for social justice, turning arenas into voting centers for the election, and I feel like it's tangible things. So here's what happens. This is not a black or white issue. This is a human issue. And any human being that's being done a disservice and not given their rights, and we're specifically talking about black people because that's the matter at hand right now. But the bigger thing is, when you look at it, who's going to stand on the side of what's right? And if you won't stand with black people when we are being done unjustly, you're a part of the problem. And that cover gets unveiled, and I'm saying this: you can choose whatever side you want to from a political party, but there's an ultimate judge, and none of us have a say-so on that. So, you know, this existence means less than we understand it to be. But you know, I won't go too deep into that, L. But to that point, man, where do you feel like? Do you feel like now that we're restarting, do you feel like this is going to be some significant change now that, you know, they got these turning arenas into voting centers, the commercials, the players I feel like are going to keep this message at the forefront? Do you feel like some significant change is possible?
Well, first things first, let me say this. A lot of people are not realizing that the president is the face. And if you want to get things done, you have to speak with your local politicians. That's how you get things done. Like the government, it doesn't trickle down, it trickles up. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the problems we have. We keep constantly pointing at the president, but the governors and the people who are sitting on the Senate, when I say racism, meaning that whole system, like I'll give you an example. Whether people have ever dealt with the reality of this or not, the police system was created to control slaves. So when you step out of the picture and look at the reality of the police, they changed it when we got in the 60s. They said the police was here to protect property. But in the system, they were literally here to control slaves. So when you have a way of thinking, it's very easy to come or approach a white person because you already know I'm here to protect your land. But when you come to a black man, you're coming already with the mentality of a slave owner. But that's the reason why, if you ever seen an area of a bunch of black,
you're saying that behavior has been passed down, and that's still existent.
Come on, E. Thank you for interjecting, because you just made the point that I was trying to say. Kids are not born racist.
Of course.
They have to see it, they have to hear it, and they have to be around it in order to take on that characteristic. Yeah. With that being said, it's a system in place. This is why when we look at how the cops approach young black boys with so much aggression, that goes back from back in the day. If you're running up on a bunch of slaves, you should have that aggression. When you're running up on a bunch of civilians, there's no reason for that energy. And when we look,
unless you feel like those people cause an inherent threat, and I think some of it is tied to that, is the threat that we pose that we don't give off, but just that is just there. There's an undercurrent that exists that nobody wants to tackle about race relations and how we deal with one another. And it's
but check it out, E. You deal with a slave, you comply or you die. You don't deal with civilians like that. And that's the problem. And like I said, I don't know, I think his name is Kelly, the guy that represents the police unit. I mean, the union. You can look at him and see he's a racist. So why would they even not be intelligent enough to not have him go up there because he's speaking it? What does the Democratic Party have to do with the police brutality? What does the Democratic Party have to do with police murdering and slaughtering black men in the street?
I think at the end of the day, the police have to represent what that badge is supposed to be about. Protect and serve. Stay independent of party.
Protect who? Protect what?
Protect all. What it's supposed to be.
The police was literally created.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying what it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, but if you notice, I keep saying it because I'm trying to drill it into our listeners. The police was created to control slaves. How do I know that? I went and done the research. I did the research 2 days ago and really came to the conclusion that the police was created to control slaves. Then when we got in the 40s and the 50s, after Black Wall Street, they changed their agenda. It was to protect property.
Well, El, I'm going to say this, man. As we move forward and hopefully we get some justice for these innocent victims who've had their lives taken from them, and hopefully Mr. Blake pulls through, and I know he's paralyzed from the waist down, and thank God he survived. But we have some bigger issues at hand, and it's important for all of the people who don't think you have a voice. You may not know how to go about helping the situation. You may not understand how to, speak out, and you might be frustrated, you might be upset, you might be just at your wit's end. The one thing you can control is to register to vote if you haven't, and to exercise your vote and do your research, not just on the president, like you said, El, on the district leaders and whoever's on the docket. Make sure you understand what their policy and how that will affect you directly. And vote for the people who have your agenda in mind, whatever your agenda is. You have a right to vote. People fought for that right. So I don't think that anyone should take that lightly. And if you don't know how to make change or affect change, that's one thing that you can do. And if you want to galvanize people and kind of create energy around that, I think it's important that we push that agenda in terms of voting for all of the people who have influence on social media, in your friend groups, your peer groups, your colleagues, your business partners, and your coworkers. Let's get that message drilled home, and let's get some people in office who are going to do things the right way. That's my hope.
Makes sense, man. I don't think I can find. I'm gonna let you shut that down with that one, man.
Man, thank you for offering your insight, and thank you for the research that you've done, and continuing to be bold and share in an authentic and very genuine way. I think that we've educated some people and we shared some valuable information.
Go
ahead.
I got one more thing to say.
Sure.
What if the people policed themselves? What if the people held themselves accountable? Do you understand that there's a system in place, which is the jail system, that works directly with Walmart, directly with major corporations? Like, these guys are in jail being slaves. Like, I've never been to jail, and I had an argument with someone that told me, they told me, oh no, you gotta work when you're in jail. I said, no, I don't. If I'm in jail, I'm already being punished. He said, oh no, you gotta work in jail. I said, I'll never be in jail when I need a little 150. I'll be good. No, that's not how it works. So you mean to tell me they was able to somehow manage to finagle the system that when you go to jail, you become a slave. And what was that? The amendment. They proved that in that documentary that was on Netflix.
Well, I mean, you're getting 150 an hour, and they're justifying it by saying you don't have rights anymore, and it's just a whole nother topic, man. That again leaves us in a space where we're without answers, and that's what we need to move towards.
We need police to protect. Stop hunting. They're hunting. They know that they don't make money if the jail system. But why are you choosing black people? Why are you trying to keep black people enslaved? That's what I just don't get. I mean, this is a new America.
You can answer your own question.
That's why they feel we'll take over?
No, it dates back. Some people
dates back. Gotcha.
You can't.
So this is why they don't want to let it go. This is why they want to keep it the same. Because
well, some people break off and they realize that, you know what I've been taught is not right and it's not fair, and I'm not going to carry on this family tradition of hate or racism. And then you have other people who genuinely just live righteously and support and believe in Black Lives Matter or just fairness and justice or Christianity or whatever it is, right? But you have to break this, and it works the same way, right? If you come from a family of people who've been in and out of incarceration, there's some part of you that, like, that's an inherent behavior. So from the perspective of the mindset, we have to understand that we have to choose something for ourselves. There's going to be things that are going to be given to us, but that doesn't mean it works for us, right? There's plenty of people who want their kids to be doctors, and that's not in their heart or spirit, and they're just forcing it. You come from a family of doctors. You're going to go to a med school, and you're an artist. It's not going to fit. We've been around plenty of parents that just force things on kids when their kids are not what they want the parents to be, including rapists.
Okay.
So to that point, man, it's E. Jones.
It's your boy Black Elvis. Hey, everybody go check out that documentary, that Yusuf Hawkins documentary. Just dropped. Shout out to Patty Deuce.
Yo, before we go, man, we had a huge loss over the weekend, and our guy Chadwick, the Black Panther, 43 years old.
Crazy.
Just a young budding star. We lost him way too soon. We dedicate the show to his memory, and also Cliff Robinson of Portland Trailblazers fame, 54 years old, passed away from cancer as well. And it's rough, man. Let's love each other, man, and let's take advantage of this opportunity we have to be here and make the most of it. From my family to your family and everybody out there, man, we start with love, and that's the way we move throughout our day and in our lives, man. So E. Jones signing out, bottom to the top hoops, City Legends, big shout out D. Jones, Jerry Ice. Who you shouting out, L?
Shout out to God.
Peace.
Yeah.